All right, guys, in this video, I'm going to show you the second part of our double exposure. Last time, all we did was create this part, which was combining the image of Philadelphia, the image of the person, and then the clouds in between. But now we're going to add text. We're going to add text, and we're actually going to add a second image that's going to be on this assignment right here. So we're going to add this image as an overlay, and at the end, we're going to come up with this right here. So let's start. First thing is you open up your file that you started your double exposure in. You can see you have each one of the layers right there. I'm going to go all the way to the top, and I'm going to start creating some text layers. Before I do that, let's start with Window, Workspace, and let's reset photography or click on photography if it hasn't been clicked already. All right, so now we're seeing everything the same way. I'm going to do double columns right here. And I'm going to go to the type tool, which is all the way at the bottom. It's the third one from the bottom left. All right. With this one, we could do 3 different types. Actually, we could do a lot of different types of text. We could click and just start typing. I know it seems very small. As you can see, it's all the way down there, right? I can click on the move tool, do Command T, and just pull the corner to just make this bigger. But you can see that's a line of text. Another thing that I could do is with the type tool again, I could click and drag and I could create a text box. And again, it's hard to see, but to make this bigger, I'm just gonna do Command A to select all. And up at the top, you can see there's a little bit of information about the text that I'm doing. Helvetica, light, the point size, I can make this 100, and it's gonna get much bigger. But for this, we're gonna actually have to have the characters and paragraph tab. So go to Window, let's go to character. Here it is. You have character and paragraph, right? We want a lot more information in here. We could type in whatever numbers we actually want. 1,000, maybe that's too much. 700, boom, much bigger, right? What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create, just like I did over here, I'm gonna create a last name. I'm gonna do a first name. I'm gonna put class of 25. Of course, you know, depending on when you're graduating, you may not be class of 25, but just for this demo, I'm going to put class of 25. And then I'm going to put a poem right here. I actually went online and just downloaded I copied a poem. So I Googled it. Let me just see. I'm going to copy this one right here. It's about creativity in a world of hues and whispers soft. All right, so I copied that. I go back to Photoshop. And over here, in this text box that I created, I'm going to do Command A and then Command V. Now I'm going to make this much smaller. Let's go to 100, all right, so that I could actually see it. Let me zoom in. And now I'm going to take out all the spaces and punctuation. So in a world. The idea with this text, by the way, this text is more for, how would I say it? It's decorative. It is legible as well, meaning like you could read it, but to read it, it's not the easiest. Why? Because there's actually no spaces in between. It makes it hard to read something if there's no spaces or punctuation. So I'm just going through, I'm taking out all of the spaces in between. And again, this is a text box. So the reason I created a text box for my poem, there's a lot of text, and I'm gonna space it out just like I did in my example, so that I can have everything spread out and it looks more like a graphic as opposed to just a body of text. My text on this is going to be more like a design element. So the fact that it's not as legible is not a worry for me. So there you go. I'm going to do Command A to select all that text. I think the size is okay. Maybe instead of Helvetica Light, I might make it Helvetica Bold. Okay, so this is the size of the text right over here. This right here is the leading, which is the space. I'll show you up here, which is the space between one line of text and another. So right now it's 96. I'm gonna make it to 200, and you'll see what happens. More space in between. This right here is the tracking. This is the kerning. We're not going to really mess with the kerning. The kerning is the space. As you can see the little graphic right there, the kerning is the space between 2 individual letters, where tracking is the space between all of those letters. So Tracking is actually something that I'm gonna increase a lot. Let's see, 200, 10 times as much, maybe a little bit more. 500, that looks okay. Let me just try 700 and see if that's too much. No, that looks fine. Decrease my leading. It's 200 right now, 100. Maybe. And I'll see if this, no, actually that's not gonna work. You know what, just for this demo, that is okay. I'm gonna go to the move tool and I'm gonna move it down here. Now look at what happens when I go to my type tool. I could click on this and I can make this body of text a little bit smaller, or text box a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger, and everything adjusts itself. Another thing that I need to do, Command A, and when you go to paragraph, instead of it being flush left, rag right, which is this right here, meaning that it's gonna align on the left, I'm gonna do right here, and this is basically gonna justify it on all sides, meaning that it's gonna try to make it even all around. It's not always even, but it's close to it. Let me see. There you go. I missed the space right there. Okay, last name. I'm gonna put the last name right here. I use Johnson just because it's very generic. I'm gonna change the text to actually be bold. So character, bold. I'm gonna do Command T. I'm gonna rotate that, holding Shift. And without holding Shift, I'm gonna make it much bigger right here. There you go. I'm trying to make it not right up to the edge, but leaving the same amount of space on the top and on the bottom and on the left. There you go. Something else that I did, I put the first name up here. So here we go. I'm clicking. Oop, click out of that. Put the first name right over here. Billy. Actually, I'm going to show you one other tool. Billy. Let's do Command T to make it bigger. Hold the corner. Nah, I came out with that anyway. Yeah, I'm going to show you another tool in the type tool. Why is, oh, because it's already clicked. So this tool right here, why is this still on there? Billy. So this tool right here makes it all capital. Instead of you having to like retype it, if you want to try something in all caps, just click on that. I'll do Billy right there, Command T to make this smaller. I'll change this instead of bold. Oops, I gotta hit return. I'm gonna make it light. There it is. I'll put that right here. And what else? Oh, the number 25 in class of, right? Again, I'm gonna click right here, 2, 5. The move tool, Command T to make it bigger. I know it's hard to see because it's very small, but here it is. I would put this down here. And then the last thing that you're gonna do after you do all of these, you have to hit return to solidify that. The last thing you're gonna do is actually play around with the blend modes, right? You wanna play around with the blend modes so that way it looks like it's integrating into those pieces. Class of, there you go, Command T. It's right over here. I'm specifically aligning stuff with different things, like the of class of is actually aligned with that part of the two. This text box right here, I'm actually going to align with the beginning of the two. And let's see. And I'll stretch this part out to align with the end of the 5 right here. And I'll move this down. Now again, just messing around with the blend modes. Right now, this is in normal. Maybe I want this to be in exclusion, right? I'm seeing each one of them. Billy right here, I probably want to leave that one like that. Johnson, yeah, this one I definitely want to change. How about a screen? No. Let's see. That looks interesting. Hue, sure. Class of, and again, you're doing this based off of the aesthetics of the piece itself, right? You're figuring out what works and what doesn't. There you go, class of, the number 25. Maybe I want to make this, I don't know, something similar to the class of, maybe hue. All right. The last thing I want to do is actually add the image that I have right here. So this, I'm going to just drag it over. I'm going to drag it over here to my file, put it on top, Command T to make it bigger or smaller. I'll pull this over here, pull this over here. I'm actually going to put this all the way at the top. And then I'm just going to change the blend mode to something that's going to work for this. Let's see. Scrolling down. This is actually interesting. Screen. I know it's going to look different. That's interesting. Yeah. Maybe saturation. And maybe I want to move this around to different parts to see how that plays out. Maybe I move this right here. Maybe I have to go back and change some of these other ones. I can see Johnson, okay, but it's not really working with this. But anyway, you do it as you see best when it comes to the aesthetics of this. So this one I left a difference, and then I would just have to take the 25 and change that. Instead of hue, I've changed it to overlay, and that's it. I hope this helped out. I hope this helps you to be creative, especially with your double exposure. Enjoy.